My grandfather, started Rich and Sons. It would have been December of 1972 is when we started, and it was under a different name. And then in 1976 is when we actually purchased the other partners' shares and became Rich and Sons at that particular time. But even though we were still the same people that ran it from 1972 on. I remember as a kid coming out here, sitting underneath his desk. Probably got me excited about the RV industry and kind of taught me a little bit of stuff and gave me chances between him and my father, giving me chances. And it was we were kind of forced for me to be out here because everybody participated, grandma, grandpa, mom and dad. It took everybody to make it work out here. And when you're a little kid, this is where you spend your time. So I kind of grew up here, which is kind of neat.
It was a natural fit for when Chuck and I got married, and Chuck was a real worker and a doer, and Dad was a real thinker and a business person, so the two of them really meshed well. And my brother was in the business for a while, and he was a salesman, and he worked with us, and I worked in the office, and there was just no limit to what you could do, because if you said, well, Dad, I'd like to try selling, he'd say, fine, go for it. And Tony from the beginning was right there, always saying, I'm going to sell campers just like my dad. So yeah, it was Dad's dream, and he got to see it before he passed on.
From what I understand, and again, I wasn't around for that. We started out selling implements, farm implement, and then we started with Red Dales and some different campers here and there, and I guess Grandpa decided it was a little more fun selling campers than it was farm machinery. So that's kind of how we started and built a building out here. As you can tell, we've built multiple buildings since then. So Grandpa probably wouldn't recognize the place right now with all the showroom and all the different bays that we've added. But he kind of, this is what he wanted, and this is what we're doing.
Well, in the beginning, I wasn't here all the time because I had the boys, and so Chuck and Dad were the instigators, the ones that worked all the time. But Dad would be in his office, and Chuck would be usually in the shop because he ran the shop, and Dad did the front, and I did the office. It was a real family type environment. And people called you by name, and you just knew the customers' faces. And as it grew, you just kind of felt like they were all part of the whole organization. But then as time went on, Tony went off to school, and then when he came back and wanted to work in the business, he tried different departments, just like I said that Dad was always in favor of. And then Nick went off to school and decided to come back and work in the accounting department. And we loved being around each other. That was kind of the neat thing about it, is that we got along good. A lot of times families can't get along, but we did. We got along good. We weren't perfect by any means, We had our differences, but nothing that was big. Since the boys came back to it, that told me that they liked what they were a part of, that it wasn't like, I'm getting out of here, never coming back. It was a healthy environment, and they wanted to be a part of it.
Most of my memories from my grandfather actually don't have to do with the business. He retired in 1985, and so when I would come here, he got moved to the side office, and my dad had moved into his office. So, I didn't know at that time what that meant, but now looking back, I understand that he had got demoted, to a side office. But he also, he was going to Arizona and stuff like that. He was someone that always had the big vision, and he was the one that had the guts to take a gamble, buy the property, and we started out with farm implement stuff, and then he had a couple Red Dale trailers that came in, and those he sold okay. And so then he says, okay, well, maybe we're going to go into more RVs. He was from the horse trading days, so he would buy and sell anything. The stories I hear is that he chose at one time. He says, I see that there's a market for RVs. There's farm implement everywhere. I think that we can actually probably make more money and a better living with RVs because there's no RV dealers around. So he starts buying these Red Dale trailers, and they were these little 18, 20-foot tin trailers that just were pieces of junk. He would always say that the sales rep would come in with a bunch of them, and they would sit down with a bottle of Jack, and they wouldn't start negotiating until the bottle of Jack was gone. That was then, this is now, but I guess probably the biggest thing I would say is that he had the guts and the vision to go ahead and take the plunge into the RV industry, and so he set the footprint for what we have today.
And my father-in-law, which is his Richard Heiser, which was one of the founders of it, he stressed customer service from the word go in 1972. So it's something we've raised, and when I was in the business, that's one thing we strive for, and I'm hoping that's what our boys are doing, and I think they are.
Rich & Son's buying experience, we put it down into paper, and we put it into that this is a procedure and this is something that's going to be trained and going to be expected that our team members execute. But this started back from my grandpa's philosophy. My grandpa passed the philosophy to my dad and my dad to us. So, the philosophy first started out as, do the right thing, take care of a customer like you were the customer. If you take care of your customers and you don't worry about the money will come. And that was something that, my grandpa always did whatever it took for a customer to make a customer happy and to do the right thing. And my dad did that too. And so we made sure that we applied that in today. There's only one right and one wrong. And if it's the right thing to do, you should do it. And if it's the wrong thing to do, you shouldn't do it. So, we took that philosophy and said, make sure that we treat our customers with the utmost respect, and we do the right thing for them every single time that we can. We said, okay, well, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're upfront with our customers. We want to know that this is a true pricing. So when you come to Rich & Sons, you're going to have upfront pricing. It's not like when you walk into some dealerships and the price you see is $20,000, but if you haggle and negotiate with them, you can buy it for $15,000. If you can buy it for $15,000, we have it for $15,000 because we want people to know. We want to be truthful and honest with people. And that's one of the things where we start with the buying experience, is to be completely upfront and transparent with our customers. So when a customer comes in, one of the things that we do that is different is we want to find out what it is that a customer is looking for. We're going to find out, what what their truck is, how many they need to sleep, how they use it. Are they going fishing? Are they going camping? Are they going down south? Are they going up in Canada? All those things are important information. We're going to find out all that information. We're going to find out a budget. Are you wanting to spend $300, $400, $500 a month? So then from that information, we show the customers the units that fit that criteria. Because we have 200 and some units, So if you just go and start walking in and out of every single unit, you're just gonna be confused when you leave. We're able to say, here's a unit that fits in your budget, and once we find that, it's a super unstressful situation. The delivery coordinator is gonna get in with our technician, and we're gonna show them how the basic stuff in the RV works so that they can go out and they can use the RV successfully.
We'll start here in the back, kind of go counterclockwise around. Any questions at all, fire away. Okay, once you're out a certain distance, there'll be the set of holes will line up again. Just crack these open. This will be pink now because that's all we have is antifreeze in the system. This is where you'll get rid of that last little bit of water if there's anything left. Water will start to spurt out of here. When it does, Snap him shut, you've now bled all the air out and you're ready to go. Use the center bar here. You can grab here and pull, but you're gonna get pinched or need some Band-Aids and a little sympathy. That'll take you to California and back, just the way you see it. You would actually fold, the water dumps out, it pops back up, and you get up in the morning, bit the bullet. You actually survived the night. Off we go, a little bit of air. Biscuits and gravy.
Every time,
Biscuits
so.
and gravy.
Yeah.
And pizzas that are soggy will remain soggy forever.
Exactly.
The wiring's already intact. This plugs into the back of your TV. You throw in the movies. Push me because I'm up and going, or turn me off because I'm sitting on the couch and don't want to get up. So it actually bypasses or drives around the water heater and you can winterize.
Perfect.
It's not hard to get to, so it's kind of a bummer. Usually you have to stand on your head upside
Yeah,
down. Whatever.
exactly.
Anything else? Looks good. Okay.
And we're going to help set them up for their 60-day inspection and their 10-month inspection. And we're going to introduce them to all the service staff. So when they do have issues, they know who they can count on. We're going to help them with preventative maintenance, and we're going to explain, the RV warranty forever. And, so there's a lot to it. It's not just buy the RV, you pull it off the lot. It's a whole process that we're proud about, that we want to make sure the customers know we're in it for a long haul for them.
Well, our service, I think, is probably one of the most important parts. And in any business, service is number one, because you've got to service your customers, and hopefully we get them taken care of properly. In fact, they're so backed up on service right now, that tells you that we have some really good techs that care about what the customer wants, and we want them to be satisfied.
One of the keys to our growth is the team that we've built. And, this is something that wasn't just done on my grandpa's back or my dad's back or, me and my brother's back. This has been done by the team that we've assembled and the people that have came into Rich & Sons team and embraced our methods and embraced, our philosophies. I just really value everybody's efforts and everybody that is here, that, that every single day comes to work and does the things that's needed. There's approximately 40 people, and every single one of them has to do what it is that we need them to do, and by them executing it, we are where we are today.
Changes. Well, I think we added on an additional to the existing building of offices in the front, which we have revised since then, and we also added a extra detail bay in the back, which they still have, and implemented a few more employees.
Back in the day, and we worked 6 days a week, sometimes 7. I mean, it was everything you can. And now, most of our people work 5-day work weeks.
So for the next 6 years, we grew the company, working as a team of 3. And then 2007, my dad had said, "You guys are running things. I'm in the way. You guys are everything's computerized, everything's streamlined, everything's technology. I don't want anything to do with that." So now standing, we went from 4 bays to 20. Now we have 20 service bays in the matter of 14 years.
Well, I think it's just amazing how things have progressed over the 40 plus years of business that we've increased it. And when I mean we, that's the boys that have basically taken over since I've kind of semi-retired or retired. And it's just amazing the number of units that they have sold per year, and the number of staff that they have on, and the additional buildings and the storage lots that we've had. So I'm just extremely thrilled how they've done the business throughout.
We had a salesman that worked for us when we first started, and the boys thought a lot of him, and he was a kid magnet type of guy, and he'd carry the guys around on his shoulders and just have a lot of fun, or they'd hide under his desk and scare him.
I would always hear that when I was a little kid, I was like 6, I would come and I would hide underneath the salespeople's desks and stuff like that and try to scare them.
But it was kind of neat because as the years went by, then that salesman worked under Tony and Nick as the years went on. But that was just kind of a neat thing.
I mean, my whole life, really, because I was born in 78 and Rich & Sons started in 71, so I've seen these people through my whole life.
Nick, when the sports shows would come around, he'd dress up like a clown and hand out balloons, because he's kind of got that personality of that.
At that time, I was impressionable enough. I said, okay, sounds good. For $5, I'll do it.
There's just a lot of fun, and enjoyed having them. They enjoyed being here.
There's lots of funny things that happened, and lots of fun things that happened.
I help move trailers around with our skid loader at this point, and at this time we do not have any more skid loaders. We have forklifts. But I would move them, and after realizing I've moved them, there were customers and salespeople inside.
He pulled a unit around, and this lady came trying to get out at the same time he was pulling around, and he rolled her.
He hooked onto a camper and he started pulling, and the customer was still in the camper, and they jumped out of the camper and hit the ground and rolled.
And of course they come running out and hollered, and it kind of embarrassed me quite badly.
And she went fine. She got up, brushed it off, everything was fine. And I mean, by all means, we didn't know she was in there.
And then he yelled at him, he's like, you shouldn't have been in there, And, he's like, I didn't know you were in there. And they're like, I'm sorry. And he's like, well, you shouldn't have been in there in the first place. You knew I was moving this.
My dad's kind of a ramrod, and he just move units to move units.
But I think we all laughed at the end of it, but nobody got hurt.
When I was a kid here, I remember Grandma bought us some Trans Am, like a coat.
We had those really shiny Rich and Sons coats. They were red, and they were, I don't even know what they're called, but they were stylish in the 80s. And they were brand new. We just got them, and we bought them for all the employees, and me and Tony had them.
And my brother and I had these, and we weren't very old. And we went and got lost in the shop somewhere.
And I don't know why, but my brother said, hey, he goes, I wonder what happened if we put a can of spray paint in the vice grip.
And we thought it'd be kind of cool to see what a black spray can would do in a vise.
And we spun down this can of black spray paint, and it just exploded all over us, all over the shop.
So we went up front with black all over us. Black was, I think it splattered a camper and all over the shop.
That was such a horrible idea. My brother always would get me to do the dumbest ideas, and since I was a little brother, I'd always listen to him.
So after that, we were kind of supposed to check in here and there.
I remember my dad was so mad. He just bought the jackets. I mean, they were probably $20 jackets, but he was so mad at us, and we got the shop dirty, and he's like, you boys, I'm never gonna let you guys come out here. But we knew that was a lie, because that was like, that was the babysitting. We didn't have babysitters. We would come to Rich and Sons, and that was what it was.
While they were working, we were off doing kid stuff. So
we used to have golf carts, and we would drive golf carts and crash them into RVs or tip them over. And I don't know how many times my dad would yell at us because we were out screwing around. Luckily that we were a little bit smaller and things were a little bit more laid back then.
we got in our fair share of trouble out here.
Well, Richard set this up back in I don't know when the first one was, it had to have been in the middle 70s, where we invited our customers back and we would clear our showroom out. At that time, we actually used units in there, and we had a few parts shelves, nothing like what we have now in our parts department. And we cleared it, and we hired a band, and we would invite the people, and we had cars lined up and down the access road, and we had just a fabulous time. The band would play, we'd dance and have fun, and it was just a jolly time.
This was when we were first starting. We didn't have as many customers. We'd invite them to come bring their camper. It was kind of a bring your own. There'd be kegs of beer. Everybody brought their own whiskey, and we'd open the shop up and have a big customer appreciation party, and trying to be responsible. Your camper's here, so you didn't have to drive home.
My mom tells this story, how this one customer said to her, I want to dance with you. And she says, well, no, for some reason she didn't want to dance with him. And he says, well, you need to dance with me because I bought a camper from your husband. And she says, well, then go dance with him. So she was kind of ornery in that sense, but
yeah.
It was just funny.
From what I understand, it was a pretty big party. Probably in today's world, you wouldn't get by with doing that. But back in the 70s, I'm pretty sure there's still a guy here, Pat Garris, in our service. He could probably tell you a few stories about those parties.
And even the kids came.
Yeah, we didn't eliminate
Yeah,
the
so it
kids,
was
and
fun,
they danced around and stayed.
I wasn't there. I don't think I was. If I was, not partaking in anything.
We did have a fun time because we did appreciate our customers, and they really appreciated coming and having fun with us.
We're a recreation. I mean, this is what people do in our community to get away from their everyday life. We see a lot more business people that are, taking their tie off, taking their suit jacket off, putting their t-shirt and shorts on and going camping.
The RV lifestyle is so friendly. People will, you just, if you go in a campground, it's amazing how people will have a potluck supper, or they'll go and sit by your RV and talk. It's just, you make friends and don't even know you are.
And that is where I come from mostly, is from the sentimental side of it, the relationships, the time that I got to spend with my dad that I wouldn't have gotten to spend with him if I had been off doing my own thing somewhere else, and the time that Chuck and I spent together.
My parents and my grandparents, when they were trying to build the company up, they would work Monday through Saturday, and then Saturday at 5 they would each grab a camper and they would drive to Sherman or Calamus or whatever, and they'd have a camping clubs, and they would grill out food my grandma would grill out food for the people, and that's kind of things they started to try to build our name and get some loyalty. And obviously Tony and I would just get thrown in the camper and go along and camp.
We spent a lot of time camping growing up. That's how we got out as getting people to know us. I remember as a kid, we'd go in a mini home. Driving there, I'd be up in the front cab looking over, and probably there weren't seat belts and all that stuff back in the day, and kid seats, but I remember sitting looking out, and you would just go down the road and you could see where you were going. And we went to Sherman, we went to Harlan, all these different places, and we'd go boating and be grandma and grandpa, my aunt and uncle, mom and dad, and all the cousins, and we'd go out and have fun, and us kids probably did stuff we probably shouldn't have done, but nobody got hurt, so it's all good.
And the kids just all enjoyed each other. You know how kids are out in the outdoors and running and playing, and it was a safe environment for them.
And it's good for families to get out and kids to get out and get away from, there's baseball and all that stuff, but just there's something about camping, going and swimming and doing the stuff that kids get excited about.
We enjoyed doing skiing and just boating and a little fishing, and then campfires at night.
The thing is about my job is the best times to camp, or especially on the sales side, is when we're the busiest. So for me to just get up and leave and do all that stuff would not be setting my guys up for success. So as hard as it may be, Nick does have an RV. He camps quite a bit. He's on the service side.
This year we went to Adventureland and camped. We went to Minnesota and camped. We went to the mountains in Colorado and camped. We go to Kansas City, Worlds of Fun, and I'll tell you that there's probably no better memories that I can say that I'm building for my kids than that time when we go camping.
We do get out. We go out and do some boating and outdoor stuff. So I do love to camp, go out. There's nothing better than a campfire.
We do all the things that we used to do before technology cluttered all the stuff and took us away from each other.
It's a wonderful thing to see those families out enjoying in the lifestyle.
And I used to always joke, but I mean it, is that camping forces us to be a family.
The RV lifestyle to me is just what we explained about how families can go out and have fun with friends and relatives and just do it and get away from the hustle and bustle of the days and hopefully leave their cell phone at home, but that's not the case. But just togetherness. My father-in-law, he wanted third generation, and he got that before he passed away.
His dream was to have his grandchildren run his business, and it's what's happening now, so it's kind of cool.
Well, he had always talked about how his biggest dream was to have a business where his family could work in it and they could use their talents.
And now it's third generation, so it's trickled down to what his dream was.
But my vision for the future of Rich & Sons, keep doing the best we can and keep kicking tail.
I want us to be able to keep satisfying our customers and keep being able to be there to take care of our team, our employees, build a good work environment and a good company that customers can keep coming to year after year after year, and they know we're going to be here and we're going to be able to take care of them.
When the customer comes in and they know our salespeople, they know our service advisors. Nick and I are available if anybody needs to talk to us.
The way it's going, you wonder where the end is, and at this point, I don't know if it's going to be another location. They've already built the new building over there, which is going to help.
We don't want to get too big to where customers are a number. If that ever gets to a point, then we'll scale back, because that's not what we want.
When you think about where it's come from to where it's at, and all the stuff that we've accomplished and all the obstacles we've gone through, we're still here, we're still kicking, we're still growing, and we're still taking care of our customers.
Have we fulfilled his dream? I would think so. We're not done yet, but I would think so.